Welcome to Modern People Live at Transform.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And so we have a different set of questions since we're live here at Transform. Typically, we would do good news, but we have a different question we want to ask. And so my first question is, what's giving you energy?
What's giving me energy in life or at the conference
It can be either, but like today, what's giving you energy?
today? I think being able to be in person with so many other leaders who are navigating, regardless of the type of company or the type of employee population, so many of the things that we're facing today are pretty universal. And so to be able to, it can be lonely being a people leader.
It can be.
And so I'm just getting energy from talking to people and getting ideas and kind of even getting re-energized about the work that I'm doing back home.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And so just curious, obviously you are a participant in the conference, you're speaking. And so share with us, what's the focus of your session?
So our session today, we had it earlier today, is focusing on the topic of burnout and actually being burnt out on the topic of burnout. So I had the opportunity to present. Yeah, exactly. I had the opportunity to present with Tana Brunsfield, who is the senior manager of mobility, benefits and mobility at Lyft. And so I think one of the things that we had talked about is there's so many of these words that have been so common lately, and Great Resignation, quiet quitting, and all of that. I think burnout's at the top of the list. And I think it's something that we're all like feeling the pressures of trying to solve on behalf of our own organizations while absolutely navigating it in real time for ourselves. And so the opportunity to talk about how Lyft and working with Modern Health has been able to really support their employees through this.
Yeah, hearing you describe the session and what you guys talked about reminded me of how I realized that I was suffering from burnout myself. And it was through Modern People Leader. Daniel and I were tearing down an article. I think it was a New York Times article, The History of Burnout. And I remember like having that conversation and wrapping up the conversation and being like, oh my God, I'm burnout.
Yeah.
And what was bizarre about that research is the guy who first identified burnout as a thing actually died from burnout.
I didn't know that.
Isn't that like so sad? That's tragic.
But it takes a toll on every aspect of your life. And so it's really critical for us as people leaders to be focusing on that. And one of the things we talked about in the session today is the American Psychological Association talked about 3 in 5 workers reporting negative effects coming from burnout. And like you, I mean, I consider myself among them at times. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was last week. I was in the kitchen with my wife, and hopefully she's okay with me sharing this, but she was struggling to find the same motivation that she had, like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, is there something wrong with me? Like, how come I'm not able to get the amount of work done each day that I want to get done?
Yeah.
And she's like, is this what burnout feels like? And I was like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's something that you hear all the time.
Absolutely. And it shows up for people in so many different ways in the workplace and to your story and at home and in life. And it's definitely reduced productivity. It's a function of feeling kind of detached from your work because you just don't have anything more to give. One of the signs we look for is when people who are really usually positive and energetic start to get almost cynical and jaded because they don't have anything left to give.
Do you think that, and first off, I have a clarifying question.
Yeah.
Because I always struggle with what I'm supposed to call it. Is it burned out or burnt out?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I know I have to like reach back into my grammar.
I think I even looked it up once and it was like, you can say
either one. Let's go with that. What do I say? I think I say burnt out.
Okay.
Yeah. But now I'm going to go back and fact check.
So is burnt out or burned out?
Yeah.
Are those the right words to describe the feelings that we have?
I think that is such a great question because I think one of the things that happens with our propensity to want to name everything is those words become very genericized. And it is a common human emotion to feel tired at times. It's a common human emotion to feel exhausted and don't have anything to give. But I think we've used the word burnout in such an encompassing way now. It almost becomes contagious in that sense. And it's become very synonymous with being overworked. And I don't think they're the same thing. And you can look at people, Adam Grant talked about this in a podcast I listened to of his, and he talked about, you have people in very high stress jobs working unbelievable hours, but they're incredibly connected to their work. They feel a lot of autonomy in their work. They feel the impact of the work, and they are not burnt out. And so it's important to distinguish between the broader factors of what might be driving them. Yeah.
And so, Maureen, you're the Chief People Officer at Modern Health.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, right.
And we're talking to a lot of people, so it's hard to keep it all straight. And so are you a career HR person?
I am not.
Okay.
No. So I started my career in really the sort of the analytics side of things.
Okay.
So I was working in marketing and analytics. So I started my career at General Mills, was part of the team that introduced Go-Gurt to the world.
Oh, cool.
Moved into a market research capacity at Nielsen. And it was at Nielsen where I moved into the people space.
Got it. So even more so, I want to ask my next question is, you could have done a variety of different things.
Yes.
But yet you chose to be the Chief People Officer at Modern Health.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious, like, why is this topic so close to near and dear to you?
Yes.
So much that you would work at a company and be the chief people leader at, the chief people officer at Modern Health. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, I am deeply passionate about mental health and really focusing on that as a priority in our life, and by extension in my professional career, a priority in the workplace. And it really comes from the fact, and you both mentioned this, I too have felt burnout, exhausted in the last couple of years, some of it related to trying to help navigate organizations through what's become chronic, but also acute stress on any given day, given what's unfolding in the world, but also things that were happening in my own life. And we, as people coming to work, we don't leave that behind. We bring that into work. And so to be able to work at a company that is really focused on access to mental health care, that's another thing that's so challenging when someone's ready to really seek help, and then they try and navigate an EAP or even their traditional insurance system and find out that it might be 4 to 6 weeks to get connected with a caregiver. That's just not acceptable. And so to work with a company that matches people to the appropriate care within 1 day's time, or even if care's not, one-to-one care is not what they're looking for, the ability to engage in mental health through digital resources, mental health resources, or circles, or whatever is going to help them on their journey. This is work that I want to go home and tell my kids I'm doing and be really proud of.
It's really making a difference. And so, like, literally in what you do, it makes a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I still remember, I feel like on the subject of mental health, I feel like just education on mental health and helping people put a name to what they're experiencing is so important.
Yeah.
I remember the first time when I realized that what I was experiencing at the time was a panic attack or like anxiety. I was like, am I having a heart attack? Like, what's going on? And it wasn't until somebody was able to, I guess, like self-diagnose me, like, hey, it sounds like you're having a panic attack. Do you have anxiety? And I was like, I don't know, I guess. Like, I don't really know what's going on.
Right.
But it wasn't until that point that I was able to start to identify resources or like protocols that I could add to my life to combat that feeling. And that was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And ever since I gained that knowledge, it's been, it's changed my life, really. Yeah. And part of that is going to therapy.
Yes.
And I feel like that's so important. We had Kelly Keegan on our podcast, who is from Built-In, and I'm almost positive she was like a Modern Health hero or something. She got
yes, she was.
Yeah. And when she came onto the show, she was singing Modern Health's praises.
Oh, I love that.
And I think the stat that she shared, and I'm gonna get the stat wrong, but most EAP's adoption rate is something low, like
1 to 3%.
3%. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have the stat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah.
And I think she said that with Modern Health, it's closer to like 20 or 30.
Yeah. And I mean, we hear those stories all the time. Tanner talked today in our session at Lyft. They're seeing utilization of the benefit at 38%.
Wow.
Which is really powerful for me, for our teams, for Tanner as he's supporting his team, to know that people are getting to be able to access the care that they need.
And so one of the reasons why we're here at Transform is to help kind of scale the amazing conversations and the amazing things that are being shared by the speakers here. Because, I can only be in one event at a time.
Yes.
So if we're trying to encapsulate the spirit of your conversation earlier. And so my next question is, if there's one thing that you want people to take away from your session, or you wanted people to take away from your session, what would that be?
It would be this, that when we think about the effects of burnout in the workplace, in life, it is multi-dimensional, and everyone kind of comes to that journey in a different place. And so we often think of it as just being related to low performance, but it actually impacts our highest performers at an even higher degree. We did research with Forrester and found that 53% of high performers are feeling burnout. And so as HR leaders, it's certainly incumbent on us to look across all of our systems within the organization, whether that's workload and prioritization, whether it's how are we fostering a sense of connection to one's work, or an environment that's really inclusive. If you're having to work really hard to fit in, that is going to deplete you of energy. So all of that, but also recognizing that mental health is a really individual journey. And so by leveraging resources that allow people to access care at the time that's right for them, in the medium that's right for them, that's how we're going to make a person by person difference.
I love that. It's, burnout, mental health challenges, it really is an invisible ailment or an invisible challenge. You can't see who's suffering just by looking at their face. And so I love that takeaway. And so my last question, what is the most compelling new idea or kind of buzz, new topic that you've heard while you've been here at Transform?
I think so. I had the opportunity to go to the session this morning with Kate Kellogg and Marla Singh from EA. And it was really amazing to hear. And there was a lot of parallels with Modern Health. So they talk about how they think about inclusivity and wellness, and in both their culture, but also in the design of their product. And I can speak firsthand. I have an 8-year-old daughter that plays hockey, and NHL 23 is like the backdrop of our house at any given time. And when she found out that she was able to create her player as a girl, as a woman, and have that player play in the game, like it shows her what's possible for her. And so to hear them talk about how intentional they are with that, similarly with Modern Health, like what we do in terms of creating an inclusive environment at work absolutely translates to creating an inclusive product and an accessible product for those that are really leveraging the resource across the different organizations that we serve.
So I'm going to throw in one last bonus question. As you look to the future, what do you think is the most important trait or skill that you think a modern people leader should have?
Oh, I love that. Oh, I think I don't know if it's a new skill. I think it's an evolution of being able to find a balance, which I think is sometimes a tricky one, of being really data-driven, really evidence-based in a way that weaves in empathy. And I think that is a skill, like I said, not a new one. I think we're all practicing that on any given day, but it's going to continue to be the differentiator, as we heard today about AI and chatbot. I think AI is really interesting. I'm really excited / nervous to see what the potentials are, but I think empathy is going to be the limiting factor.
We have a couple extra minutes, and now that you brought up AI, I just have to ask, do you think with generative AI, there are applications for mental health? And I'm sure that there's going to be something that comes out.
For mental health, it's interesting. I think I would defer to people who are much more knowledgeable kind of in what those applications might be. I think the challenge there, and it's something we're talking about internally, is like the privacy elements around that are pretty significant. I do think it's going to be interesting, as we heard in this morning's session, about how do you weave that into the different processes and systems that you have to really kind of leverage and be able to do more. But the trick is always going to be, does that come off authentic?
I love it. I think that AI is going to transform almost every aspect of the people space. If I'm completely honest, it is scary, but that's my belief.
We're going to have to do a compilation of every time somebody uses the word transform in this
And-
conference.
Oh, yeah.
And post that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining. We've had Modern Health on our list since the Kelly Keegan episode. We wanted to have you
Perfect.
guys on,
Well,
and
thank you.
the universe just brought this all together. So
appreciate
the last tradition we have is we call it one word close.
Okay.
So one word, one phrase, just to reflect on this conversation of what we want to leave with.
One word
Or phrase.
or phrase. Intentionality. Yeah.
I'm going to say reflection.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say awareness.
Love that.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks
Thank
again
you.
for joining us. It's
Thank
been a lot
you.
of fun.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.